Hello, I'm Ollie and this is Simple Watch Reviews, where I review simple watches in a straightforward way. Today, another very affordable military homage, the Watchdives WD1972. So I'll be interested for people to drop in the comments which watch they think this homage is. I believe it's a homage to the Marathon Navigator, but I don't know if the design that Marathon used for the Navigator is actually original to them, or if there's an older watch that had that design. Do let me know in the comments if you know. It's certainly a very distinctive design though, with this kind of slight asymmetry to it. So Marathon, if you don't know, are a Canadian company who make military watches, so watches that are used in active military service by various militaries around the world. They're probably best known for their search and rescue watches, so the MSAR and GSAR in particular, and also very well known for using tritium tubes in their watches, so little tubes of glowing radioactive gas, which means that rather than having traditional lume on a watch where you need a light source to charge up that lume, tritium tubes just glow all the time, but they do gradually degrade over the years, so after a while they won't glow at all. The Watchdives doesn't use tritium tubes at all, and for that reason, and I suspect other reasons as well, it's a lot cheaper than the Marathon. So the Watchdives retails for £64 or about 85 US dollars. The Marathons go for, well, if you get one with a resin case, if you get the Marathon Navigator with a resin case, they're north of £400. If you get one with a steel case, they're over £800. So a lot more expensive for a very similar looking watch. One of the other things that's distinctive about this design is the bezel. So rather than having a countdown bezel like you get on a dive watch, it's got a bezel with the 12-hour markers. And that's why this is a Navigator watch. You can use it if you are a navigator in an airplane to track 2 time zones. So it's kind of a cheap way of doing a GMT watch. So let's talk about the specs of this one. So stainless steel case, which has kind of a bead blasted style of finish, which I quite like, definitely works well for a military style watch. So it's 41 millimeters in diameter, 46 mil lug to lug, and 11.2 mil thick, partly because of that big domed sapphire crystal that it has. It's got 20 mil lug width and comes supplied on the NATO strap, which I think suits it really, really well. The NATO strap on this watch is absolutely fine, nothing to write home about, but they've done a good job of matching the hardware on the strap to the case of the watch. It's got a screw down crown, 200 meters of water resistance, and the Seiko VH31 mecha quartz movement inside. That's a quartz movement that ticks at 4 times a second, so it kind of looks like a mechanical watch. Watchdives do this with either a black or a white dial, and you can also choose to have a 24-hour style dial rather than just the one with indices that I've gone for. In terms of finish, it's plain and simple. The satin style case is exactly the same all over and definitely looks like it will take a knock or two. The domed sapphire crystal is nicely done. It has a little bit of anti-reflective coating, but not a huge amount, I would say. The bezel has an aluminium insert. As I said, it's a 12-hour style bezel rather than a countdown bezel. The bezel action I would rate as okay. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible either. There is a slight hollowness to the clickiness of it, and there is a tiny bit of backplay on mine as well. The black dial is very simple and very, very legible. So you've just got the Watchdives logo beneath the 12 and then 200 meters or 660 feet above the 6. The hands are very, very simple, very white. They really stand out against the dial, as do the indices. So a super, super legible watch, as you would want from a military style watch. The lume on the hands and dial is BGW9 and it glows nicely. There's no lume on the bezel apart from the bezel pip. As you can see on my 6 1/4 inch wrist, it looks pretty good. I think it wears quite small for a 41 millimeter watch, and I think that's A, because it's got relatively short lug to lug, so just 46 mil as I said, but also because that 41 mil diameter effectively includes the crown guards, which you wouldn't normally include in the diameter of the watch. The style of the watch with that asymmetrical design makes the on paper diameter bigger than it really is. So overall, I think this is another very nice military style watch from Watchdives. I have to say I don't like it quite as much as the WD1980 I reviewed on the channel a while ago, but if you're after a Navigator style watch, this is definitely a very affordable way to get one. Do let me know what you think in the comments. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it, and please also consider subscribing for more simple watch reviews.